no denying the potential of Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Think about it, a full-fledged open-world exclusive on Sony's struggling handheld. A chance to blaze new trails of female heroine and tie it in with one of the fall's biggest console releases. In some ways, Liberation capitalizes on its chances, but it's not without its problems. It ends up being a fun game, but not one you need to run out and buy a Vita for. Liberation casts us as Aveline, a young woman tossed into the life of an assassin when her mother disappears one New Orleans day. How does she fall into the life of random murderers and leaps of faith? I know she has a mentor. See, that's the major problem with Liberation's story. It gives us the broad strokes, but it does little to fill in the details when we want them. The girl's mom disappears, and somehow she's trained by this guy to be a killer, but her dad and stepmom have no idea that she's in the Brotherhood. None of that is shown. It's left to a bio in the database to explain. It's simplified Assassin's Creed, a plot boiled down to bullet points for gamers on the go, and that's a shame. Aveline has glimpses of being an awesome character when it comes to interacting with her partner in crime and her desire to free slaves in the late 1700s. But those story threads are never really explored. She's like Batgirl in the old Adam West show. Her plot threads are conveniently simple and shallow. They're easy to jump in and out of. When it comes to looks, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation goes back and forth between being impressive and substandard. When Avaline's perched above New Orleans or the Bayou, the game can look stunning. But in motion, the luster is lost. The frame rate chugs, and there's always this soft filter on cutscenes. Once you're used to how the game moves, it's easy to appreciate the detail in Avaline's outfit and her surroundings, but Liberation won't be confused with Assassin's Creed 3 on the visual front. However, Liberation does get a big pat on the back for bringing the open world of the Assassin's Creed franchise to the Vita. Avaline's New Orleans has side missions to tackle, shops to buy, and more, so that when you're done with the story, you still have things to do. Make no mistake about it, Liberation is an Assassin's Creed game. You leap across rooftops, slice throats with your hidden blade, and use eagle vision to spot objectives in crowds. Liberation brings the main franchise's controls to the handheld in a way that should make vets feel right at home. That's excellent. That's what I want out of Liberation. I still leapt off buildings to my death every now and again by accident, but the overall mixture of stalking enemies and using blow darts to make people go insane is a good time, and it'll bring me back to the open world quests I still have available. The new innovation that Liberation brings to the table is personas. Aveline has 3 personas she can don, and each come with pros and cons. The assassin persona allows her to access all her weapons, but gains notoriety quickly. The slave persona is weak in combat, but can incite riots. And the lady persona can't fight all that well, but it can charm enemies. These personas sound cool in terms of problem solving, but mainly they were forced on me for missions. I wasn't given the choice to tackle as a slave or a lady, I was told to take on the mission as one or the other. Later in the game you get a bit more choice, and each persona has its own set of side missions, so there is a payoff if you're disappointed at first. Sadly though, the majority of Vita minigames never get past the disappointment phase. While the touchscreen is useful to pan around the maps and select weapons, rolling a ball through a maze via the Vita's gyroscopes and trying to decode a letter by using bright light on the rear camera are examples of minigames that are forced and not fun. In a similar vein, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation packs an asynchronous multiplayer mode, but it's nothing all that interesting. Here you decide if you're with the Brotherhood or the Templars and try to capture and defend different nodes on a world map. You don't actually play anything, you just dispatch troops and see how they do. You're playing with and against the rest of the world in this mode, but I was more concerned that I kept getting a bug that wouldn't allow me to quit it. Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation is a faithful interpretation of the franchise on the go, but a series of stumbles hold it back. We aren't allowed to really connect with Aveline, the game doesn't run well, and there are a couple of Vita-specific minigames that pull you out of the experience. If you're looking to silently stab people in the back and scamper across New Orleans rooftops, Liberation has your number, but don't expect an enthralling experience ripped from the history books. For more on American history, talk to IGN's Colin Moriarty, because he will not shut up about the Founding Fathers. For more on Assassin's Creed, head over to IGN.com.